Hello everyone, and this is MrSovr. Sorry if this is a little bit laggy, but again, I'm using Fraps and Minecraft, so it's a little hard. Make sure to subscribe and like to my videos, and I did a small update here actually. It's kind of cool how it all works. I just started up the level, so I have to get all these computers running. So this one will be start. Let me see, is that working? Yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay. So I added a new sound component to the actual video game I'm working on inside Minecraft. It's actually a cool thing. Okay, so as you can see, there is one computer here connected to 4 different tuned note boxes. Over Wi-Fi, you got these 4 ones. Each one is associated to each note box. And I got random redstone things connected to a redstone for now. I guess I could do more detailed songs as soon as I figure out how to do that stuff. Well, it's kind of nice actually. So, I also have to start up a couple other computers. The reason why I only do start and not startup is because I always want to edit my programs. And I have no way to get out of the program as soon as it started. Again, these computers, this one's for firing, this one is, I think, for left, right, forward, and backwards. And these are just receivers to transmit redstone power through wirelessly without having to put redstone. This huge matrix is for artificial intelligence within my video games, which I have accomplished, finally. It is not an enemy or anything, and there's no purpose to fire at it or anything. It just moves around on the screen. It's kind of cool. I will show you that in a second, if it works. I didn't thoroughly test it, like I usually don't when I do a video. Probably not the most smartest thing in the world, but I don't know. For those of you that are new, because I already did a video on this, well, yeah, you'll see in a second. It's pretty hard to explain. I'm getting around 10 frames per second. I'm sorry if it's really laggy, but anyways. Let's get this thing on a road. Ah, dang it, I did it wrong. Okay. Monitor, right, start, 0.1, and I want no debug information. It doesn't show on the actual screen what to type in. Usually what I do is as soon as you type in monitor right, start, then right after that I type in 0.1, enter, then no if you don't want any debugging information, and yes if you do want debugging information. Then you press enter again, and then you get this. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Now supposedly, I know it takes a while. Yeah, you can see the A is actually moving. Of course I need to tweak some stuff to make it so it actually moves around a lot better and actually has artificial intelligence. But for now, it just slowly moves around, and that's it. Moves left, right, up, and down. If he moves up all the way, he appears to the very bottom there. Unlike my guy, where he'll get stuck. So basically what we have here is a control panel with transmitters that go to the receivers that we just saw. And here's a firing mechanism with a lever. So, Click here. Our guy moves. The only reason why it kind of lags like that is probably because I am using fraps and the computers are a little slow. Which I kind of fixed it a lot better compared to last time. But when I actually hit the bottom, I should just stop there, right? Yeah, I kind of just hit the wall there and I kind of moved backwards like that. Now I can sort of realize that the A isn't really moving that much. Again, A is for artificial intelligence. It keeps on moving down though, instead of up or anything. And now it's moving. Ah. But as you can see, I can move around my guy, and I can also fire, which is pretty nice. And I also upgraded that with the lever instead of a button, because a button is a lot worse to use. And so that's basically the news for the actual video game in Minecraft. I consider this a game engine in Minecraft, mainly because you can download this and use it as a template. So now that I'm done showing the little previews and everything, let's get into the actual code of the Minecraft computer craft TECHNIC stuff. So what we do is we do Control R to restart the computer, and then we do Edit Start. Now as you can see here, there's a boatload of commands and functions and all sorts of this stuff. Now rednet.open, if you haven't watched some of my TECHNIC rednet Lua tutorials, I would prefer you to go into my videos or go onto my channel and look up the actual videos. They have the most views out of all of them and the most likes. Even though supposedly I did a spelling error that kinda messed around with people, but it's still a very good tutorial. And let's teaches you how to work with turtles. Okay, so let's explain let's explain some of these variables. Local variable basically means that it's local within this program. It's kind of an initialization for variables. That's basically all there really is. Now the term .getSize, that is basically the whole entire size of the screen. The maximum resolution X and Y, which is the max X and the max Y. So therefore I can tell that if my symbol on the screen hits the edge on the right side or the bottom side, since the very top left upper corner is 0, 0 coordinates, where the bottom right coordinates is max X and max Y coordinates. I don't know exactly what the coordinates are, but that's basically what happens. Now the actual local X and Y. The X and Y is initialized at 5, means that my actual person you control with the pressure plates are at coordinates X 5 and 5, and the second 5 is for the Y, of course. Now sync is actually a variable that goes within the main loop. Basically every 2 times you go, every time the sync goes up to 2, it will clear the whole entire screen, so therefore you don't have a trail of where you've been, and it doesn't update the screen really. It's kind of hard to explain if you're a novice within this programming. If you're intermediate and advanced, you would totally understand what I'm talking about with this. But I will show you later in the code. Now the AI X1 and the AI Y1 is where the A starts. It's the coordinates for the A, which is 2X and 2Y basically. The F, if you're familiar with Minecraft development, F is basically where your person is turned at, or where is he facing. Now if I were to get out of this and go back into normal Minecraft, and if I were to press F4, it would show an F as one of the variables out of X, Y, and Z. The F basically helps me with where the bullet will go when I start shooting. That's basically all it is. Now the x2 and the y2. I really don't remember what variables those are. I think it's for debugging. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The x2 and the y2 is where your bullet is. It's automatically initialized as 0 because we don't want it being shown on the screen. So basically what happens with the bullet is that as soon as you press the lever for the bullet to be shot out, it will basically put the bullet where your person is, and it will continuously adding variables to the x or y, or subtracting to the x or the y based on what your f value is. And I think f1 is up, f2 is left, f3 is right, and f4 is down. That's basically what it is. Now AI1 is like a substitute or a string. A string is a combination of characters. A character is like N or O or T, if you just haven't known that. And a string is a combination of characters, so nothing would be a string, where N would be a character. This AI1 string variable is basically used for, since you could transmit strings as messages between computers to RedNet, the AI1 is basically telling, I think it is for, what is it? It's for the bullet. Basically, if the AI1 is equal to fire, it'll shoot a bullet, which is for the X2 and Y2. It'll shoot the bullet from the actual person in whatever direction based on F. And if it's equal to nothing, the bullet won't shoot again. It'll just disappear when it hits the edge of the screen. It's basic as that. And fire is practically for the exact same thing. Now, this print command basically puts text on the screen. So it'll say print, enter refresh rate. Of course, when we first did this, or executed this program, we didn't see this because we put it on the big screen monitor, not on the individual computer. If you didn't have a big monitor, you can actually see it on the normal computer. Now the local speed equals read. The local speed is a variable that is equal to what you just typed into the computer. That's why I say type in a 0.1 after you initialize the program, then press enter, which then goes to this print command, which do you want debug mode, yes or no. You simply type in yes or no, and it saves it in the local debug variable. Now, if you don't know anything about loops, try to look it up on the internet and stuff like that, because I don't feel like going over loops. And we have the sleep command. If you don't know what that is, well, you're gonna need to see some other tutorials, and the same thing for RedNet commands. RedNet I'm not gonna go over too much. But I will say one thing, the speed command, as you can see, is put into the sleep, or the speed variable I'm sorry, is put into the sleep command. Now this varies how fast your game will actually go. That's why I say type in a 0.1, because a 1 will go a lot slower compared to a 0.1. The previous video I had for this video game was with a 1, not a 0.1, and that's why I went so slow, and I said, oh, I better fix this with performance. But that's basically what the speed command's for. Now the term .clear is when this clears the whole entire screen, refreshes everything, so therefore if you change the position of a character, it won't leave the original position a character still there. It'll delete that, and the new position it'll show the character. Basically, yeah, refreshing. And this is putting information on the screen if you have typed in yes for debug. Now the term .set cursor position 2.2 or 2,2 is basically positioning the cursors in a certain X or Y coordinates on the screen. This could be used for positioning information. This could be used for positioning your person on the screen, and you just simply change the X and the Y variable for moving the character, or whatever. Now this write command is the exact same thing as the print command, but does not, this is kind of hard to explain for a novice. A write command, or a print command, is like if you type in hello and then you press enter, it goes to the next line, right? Well, write is the exact same thing as print, but write is without pressing enter at the end. Okay, yeah, I guess I should have done that earlier. Sorry if the bird noises and everything was in the way. But again, the print command is for when you press enter at the end of what you're typing, and the write command is when you type in stuff without pressing enter at the end. You're gonna have to kind of play around with those commands to truly understand them, but yeah. The random math.random, don't worry about that at the moment. I tried working with that. It basically just generates a random number, and of course I forgot the parentheses, so it kind of messes it up. And the term.set cursor position X and Y basically puts the cursor back to where your character is supposed to be, so your character isn't like stuck in the corner or something like that. Okay, so this is basically for the bullet. If ID is equal to 21 and fire equals nothing, then if your character's position F equals 1, F equals 2, F equals 3, F equals 4, whichever one, the command fire will equal up, right, left, or bottom. This basically converts the actual F variable and putting it into the fire variable as in a string. So it's a little easier for me to understand without having to memorize what the F variable basically is. And then these IDs, if ID is equal to 16, 17, 18, and 19. This basically moves the actual character based on the pressure plates that you stand on. The pressure plates send a signal to the transmitter of the redstones to a receiver, then goes to an actual computer. The computer will send an information through the Wi-Fi to the main computer. Each of those computers have certain IDs. One has 16, 17, 18, and 19, which are again associated to the pressure plates. So therefore the Y is where the Y coordinates is for your character, and the X is where the X coordinate is. And sorry, I got a little lost there. When I mean Y equals Y minus 1, that means you're just taking away one variable from Y. It's like, well, it's a little difficult to say. If you're like a normal mathematician, never done programming before, you look at this and you're like, what? But, I hate when that happens. But that's basically how you move your character, is by that, and you can change his direction based on which ID is sent. And this is the sync command. If sync is greater than 2, then term.clear sync equals 0. It's another way of clearing the screen after two cycles of the loop, nothing too much. And then if fire is not equal to nothing, then now the weird squiggly line equals symbol basically means not equal to, if you understand anything about logic. And the term.set cursor position, X2 and Y2, is the setting the position of the bullet. And the right 0 is basically the bullet being put onto the screen itself at X2 and Y2 coordinates. Again, the X2 and Y2 variables are the X coordinates and Y coordinates of the bullet. If fire is equal up, remember when those if statements, if F is equal to 1, then fire equals up. This is basically when it comes into action, where if fire is equal to up, then Y2 equals Y2 minus 1. It'll keep on doing that until if, as you can see down here, if X2 is less than 0 or X2 is greater than max X. Remember that the max X and the Y X, max y and the max x are the max coordinates over on the right and the bottom of the screen. That's basically where the edge is. So if it actually hits that, it converts fire equals to nothing. And as you can remember up here, if fire is not equal to nothing, then make the bullet fire out in whatever direction based on what the variable fire is equal to. For example, up, bottom, right, or left. It'll keep on moving the x or y coordinates up, down, left, or right, or whatever. The fire equals nothing, then the actual coordinates of the bullet is equal to where the actual your character is, or the multiplication sign that's being put on the screen. And this is for the AI. If message equals up, if message equals bottom, left, or right. Message is the main variable that is getting transmitted from a computer to this computer. The only thing is there's a universal up, bottom, left, and down that's being placed here. No ID for a computer is needed, even though if I want to put more than one AI, I'm going to have to change the message to something more unique, like AI1 up, AI1 bottom. And this, I will show you in a little bit how this AI works, basically. But again, I got these if commands after those 4 message if commands, where if AIX1 is greater than the max resolution of the x coordinates, then the AI is placed at 0x coordinates. So it's being, if it goes all the way to the right, it'll appear on the left. And also for the Y, if you go all the way up, it'll appear on the bottom. If you go all the way to the bottom, you'll appear up the top. Which is kind of cool of a system. And of course the term.set cursor position AIX1 and AIY1 will just position the A, and then you put your cursor back to where your character is. And these 4 if commands are basically just saying, okay, if you hit the border of the left, right, bottom, or top of the actual screen, you get stuck there. You don't go anywhere until you move somewhere else. And then the right multiplication symbol is your actual character. And that ends the program. So we control save and control edit, exit. Okay. So now we are off to show you how the AI works. We already understand how the normal controls work and how the audio works, which is kind of nice. And here's the AI matrix. Now the matrix is a very complex thing that's built here. As you can see, each individual one of these are random generated redstone thingies. I don't know what they call them. And I have an array of them. All of these have to be positive straight in order to turn this repeater on, and same thing for these. And we also have a vertical connection of redstone to these different levels. So basically the rate of movement is different each level of these. This one will move the most. This one will move second least, third least, or I'm sorry, second most, third most, fourth most, fifth most, and this one will move the least. We have a timer. Excuse me. Ugh. Sorry about that stuffed nose. Right here we have a timer redstone circuit. And right here we have another random redstone thing. And here we have a computer which reads whether any of these 4 are on based on the back input. So this one will be on, so if it's on this variable, it'll say okay. Over there, that computer will receive a message saying, okay, move the A down, up, right, or left, based on this computer right here. Every single time this random thing shoots out a positive right here, it's just from moving upwards to down or left to right. Now I know this is a little hard to understand, but here, let me try to phrase it this way. Okay, so the computer gets a positive input on the front. It says, okay, well, I'm checking if I could go up or not, so let's decide we go left now. So it goes over to here saying to the left computer, which I think is right here, saying, hey, do you have a redstone electricity hitting you on the back? And it says, oh yeah, I do. Okay, so this computer says, okay, well, I'm getting a reading that it's wanting to go left, so it communicates over there, moving the A left. Now, if this thing goes again positive out front, it'll say, okay, I'm done with checking left. Let's see if we could go up, or I meant bottom. I think it's already here. It's saying like, oh, computer, do you have power going to your back? It says, yes, I do. So then it goes down here saying, okay, I'll send the other computer over here to tell A going down. And the same thing for right and top, or up. And I can add a huge amount of actual AIs just aligned to each other, and each AI can have a different AI or a different movement, making it different difficulties. For example, look at how many times this one's moving. It's like crazy. This thing will be spazzing out on the screen. That would be really hard to dodge if you had to, or even fire upon. So it's different difficulties, different hard stuff, and this is really a cool system, and of course not really done yet, but it's still really fun. So make sure to like and subscribe to my videos. If you have any questions or anything, please comment. Also share this video on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, make a hangout. I don't really care. Well, I do kind of care. I'd appreciate it a lot. But if you really like what I'm doing, please comment and please like. I do have an app out there called Red Line Racer on the App Store. You can type it in, download it. It's really fun, and it's a free app. It's a really nice one to have. And so yeah, thank you for watching, and this is MrSovr.